This is Jason on Jason's Jungle, and I'm doing day 3 of my polytunnel build. At the minute, all I've got is these bolts loosely held together. As you can see, I haven't tightened them up too much. So I've just backed this one off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some thread locker, and that's sort of like a glue that fits into the thread and the nut, and stops it rattling around when the wind blows, and stops it loosening up. So to do that, push this up. So I've got the area where the nut's going to come onto, and just add a bit of this. Don't drop your tools. Spread it around a bit so it's on both sides, and I'm going to tighten it up, and I'm going to get this, and I'm going to tighten it up, and even use this just to hold that there as I tighten this up. That's tightening it up a bit more, and I'm going to go through all the nuts, put some thread locker on, and tighten the frame up, because it is very loose at the minute. So this is what I'm going to be using as my staging supports along both sides of the polytunnel. It's made by Robinson Polytunnels for their own polytunnel brands, and of course I'm adapting it to be used on the one that I've bought. When you're adapting it, you've got to sort of like cut corners or make compromises. The first thing I had to do was these Q clamps. Because my frame is 32mm and they do frames in 25 and 35, neither their frame clamps would work. So I had to buy some separate Q clamps. And the first problem was bolts. The bolts that I had were too short, so I had to buy some more bolts today. So these ones are long enough and hold on nicely. And the second problem that came up was these Q clamps, this arm isn't as long as theirs. That meant this pushed back and didn't set in properly. Because if you look at the back end of this, you can see how it's nice and square. And this bit here, as it came down, pushed against the frame. So to solve that bit, I've had to cut corners, quite literally, and just trim off the edge. So that works. Now I can get it level and set up quite nicely. Now the reason I like this one rather than others is because of this T-shaped bracket. That means I can put in just one piece of staging, and I can make that out of slats or whatever, and I don't have to put a bench top across several different bays. So, you know, I'd have probably had similar adaptation issues with other polytunnel brands. They might have been stronger, they definitely look stronger, but I think this will really do the job. But there is a third problem. Again, that's not because of Robinson's, it's because I'm using it on a different polytunnel, and that's caused by these. Because when the end brace has come around, which are narrower, the leg comes down mid brace. So what I think I'll do is I'll get some 100mm bolts to go in here, a few extra nuts to go on them, and have the bolt come out and then fix onto the end of the bolt, which would project us beyond the brace. It'll make this bit of staging having to be shorter than the rest, but it's a compromise, but I think it'll work. Ignore the mess down here, but you can see I was looking at putting some pavers in for the paths. Now I'm now thinking, is it worthwhile putting pavers in, or should I just put small tiles in at the bottom of each of these staging supports? because by the time you bring it out to the edge of the, underneath the staging support is going to be one bed. Then if I had a path, and the same on the other side, a bed and a path, I'd have a really skinny space, probably about this wide, you know, coming in from either side as my middle bed. So you can see out here how far that pier would come in, so that it would give support to the staging so they don't sink into the ground, and also leave space, enough space for the bed there. But it would only give, you know, 12 inches of a bed in the middle, unless I wanted to go around and cut, you know, a strip off of every single paver, which I do not want to do. So I'm thinking that I might just keep the mat, the weed membrane as the path, and use a bit more the middle for the bed, and have narrower paths than 2 foot from these pavers, which means I've got to carry these out again. Okay, so it doesn't look like I've done much today, but I have done. I've got to now a more sturdier frame now that I've Loctite, thread locked it and tightened up all the bolts, as well as got these extra bars in, which I finished off today. Well, I've still got to cut down the ends, but that's not going to take us too long. I've got the beginning of the staging in, and basically what I'm going to do is finish the staging, and then I've got a bunch of boards which I'm going to put along the side. I've got to trim them down, because if I show you down here, these decking boards, they're 32mm thick. The posts are 32mm thick, and if I cut these to the right length, I can fit these between the posts so that it's all big flush, and that the cover will still fit over it. That's then going to leave me space to put battens on top and batten the cover down to make it secure, because I'll have this side facing out, which has all the creases in it, and if I batten the cover to that, hopefully these creases will help hold it if I get the batten strong enough in there. Of course, I wouldn't be able to get those battens, the decking, into that gap if I had those hooks over the poles, which is another reason why I've put them under. But if you like anything you've seen here, leave a comment. If you don't like, leave a comment. In fact, just leave a comment. Anyway, click like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next post. Ta-ra.